DeepSeek has been doing circles on social media. You can see this across YouTube, Instagram, and on news channels if you follow international news. What has happened is there's an insane competition or a competitor to OpenAI, which is live and open source and is rivaling OpenAI Owens model. Why is this important? Because this unlocks a couple of discussions or gets into talking about few things that has so far been locked. So this is a common video. I sometimes do a common video on both of my channels, both on Cafe.io and on Quant Lab. So if you are new to either of my channel, wherever you are saying, please subscribe. On Cafe.io, I talk about technology and trends, software architecture. On Cafe.io, I bridge that and take it over to the finance. But this is meaningful for all of you. So let's dive in. So what DeepSeek is another LLM, which is a large language model, something like a ChatGPT. Now, if you click on Start Now, you will be taken to some sort of a login page, which will give you the option to work with it, like ChatGPT basically. But why is this doing circles is because of two key reasons. A, it came from China, and traditionally what US has done is put a lot of sanctions on China. Like if you search for US sanctions, Nvidia, China, right? So there were, the top tier Nvidia chips, they were banned to, like, you couldn't ship them, Nvidia couldn't ship them to China. And basically this was kind of a tightened regulatory move by US. I don't know whether it was political or controlled, but there were strategic limitations. Despite all of this, what these guys have managed to do is come up with a competition, and I'll show you how good it is by benchmarks. The second part is they did it at dirt cheap money. Well, dirt cheap is still in a couple of millions, but the point is every other company, the big tech, has been talking about it. They have spent millions, like in tens and 50 and all those dollars, basically throw a lot of money, a lot of infra, a lot of people at the problem and say, let's build the best system. But here comes a company about whom nobody has heard and is just doing rounds on social media because of the very right reasons. Whether this turns out to be a copycat or not, I think that they have proven the point that building large language models from scratch doesn't require that insane infrastructural capabilities that was previously thought, and also it can be done much cheaper. Whether they have done more innovative work, or is it pure derivative work, it is a distillation, all those technical details are still to be seen and discovered. In fact, it's very hard to find out who the people are behind the scenes. It's supposed to be a quant firm, and if you see CNN, you will see that there's not a lot of information about them. This was not a deep tech company. So the benchmarks, it follows MOE architecture, which is multiple experts or something like that, like system of experts. So there's multiple expertise that you build into it, kind of different transformer blocks are fed into it and all that. It compares itself to the DeepSeek 2.5 or GPT-4o. You don't have a lot of information, but from a llama perspective, they have given you the number of parameters. This is a much smaller model. Total parameters is 671 billion, activated is 37 compared to llama, which is 405 and 405. Most of the benchmarks they beat every other player. Like, in certain instances you will have some other player taking the bigger shot, like Claude is good in certain if eval scenarios and all of that. But in most of the scenarios and the benchmarks that you see, you'll find it doing it great stuff. Like Math 500, the last benchmark was 80, and a leap and a movement from 80 to 90 is huge. Like a movement from 32 to 34 is quite incremental. When you already have people operating under 88.7, you move to 91, then there's, this is 89.1 and there's 88.9. So you can always think that certain benchmarks would behave differently, but the math numbers are quite good. C eval, certain on Chinese language is quite good, which can be expected. They also have a lot of derivatives like coder model, math model, and they have all the different apps. Like you can get obviously a chat model. They also have a O1 derivative, which is R1 model, and you can always upload documents, put in a search and do all of that. Like if I put in search and say what is DeepSeek, and it's gonna probably take a little bit of time because the servers are kind of pretty, yeah, I don't know, did not search, which is not good. Search the internet for the references to what is DeepSeek. Let's just do this, and then it's probably should. Yeah, it's now searching web. So for some reason it found more results than I have seen GPT do. It could be just me liking it. It gives a little bit of background. This is the quant firm, like a high flyer quant firm, which solely funds DeepSeek. So it's like a high flyer quant fund. There's some conversations brewing around in this space, all of that. So basically, it does very similar stuff as O1 or something like that, and the terminology is slightly different. The English use would be slightly different, and uh, there's also conspiracy theories about how much of data it's stealing and all of that. You have all the other options available, like it has a platform, it has a tax registration has been paused. I was not able to do this for a while, but basically you have the same setup as any other LLM provider that you would have. Now, there's a lot of articles on CNN which I highly encourage you guys to watch if you're new in the space. Why this helps you is if you're a quant firm, if you're a technology company trying to get into this space, distilling information from this kind of an LLM could be very well within reach. Yes, it still takes weeks, but I think if you go by the idea that some of the innovations that they're proposing, I think they went from a 32-bit to an 8-bit sort of approach to pull the information and to tokenization. So there's a lot of stuff that they have done. If you learn from them and try to build a SLM, you would go much faster. So the architecture gain can be seen and leveraged. Beyond that, it becomes much more easy and accessible for people to kind of use a single language model to be uploaded in different places, deploy your own language model, which is built much more cheaper. And as you see more stuff coming out of it, people will be more, the investor community will be more enthusiastic to invest more money in this space because now people have proven that it can be done outside OpenAI. So yeah, interesting times, great start of the year, and yeah, all the very best. Go ahead and use it. Tell me what do you think.